couple of weeks ago, MailerLite revealed their new email campaign builder. It's called the Simple Editor. Now, it's very similar to the Ricth-text Editor if you've been using that before. Basically, what it is, it does what it says on the tin. It's a simple editor. It doesn't have the drag and drop function. It's got less moving parts, fewer moving parts. And the idea is that it's distraction free and you just type and everything just happens. I mean, everything happens anyway when you type, but you type, you enter, and you go into a new block. You can still add images and buttons, but it just looks simpler. And also, when it arrives in someone's inbox, it looks more like something that you've sent from, say, your Gmail account or your business email rather than through a marketing platform. So let's dive in and have a look. So as you can see, when you log into MailerLite, you will probably have this at the moment. I don't know how long this will last, but because it's fairly new, it's inviting you to try the new builder. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the traditional method, which is to go to campaigns. Now, while we're doing this, I'll just say that this is my dummy account. It's full of fake subscribers. All the subscribers are me, so there's no personal data that I'm sharing here. Now, I'm going to create a campaign in the usual way. So hit create campaign, regular campaign again, and then you see we've got the options here. HTML editor is on a premium package, and that is a coded email. So that's going from simple editor, drag and drop editor, and then HTML is where it gets much more complex. And you can code it to look exactly how you want it to look. I would say for a small service-based business, that's really probably a bit extra. It's not something that I'll be investigating. So drag and drop has been the one that you've probably used most often. And here is the Ricth-text editor, the legacy one, so the one that we were using previously, which is now being replaced by this. So I'm going to click Simple Editor. And here we are. So if you've used the landing pages, you'll see that we've got the style element here, and this is very similar to what you have on a landing page. So you can actually change it. So at the moment it's on brand style, and brand style, current style is MailerLite's style. Then we've got default brand style. So that's my brand styles, my made up brand style. So I've just changed it to that, and that changes the colors here. So this is where my accent color is, text color. I'm going to change my text color to black just because I think it's better for readability. And the link color I might change to my default color. So that's going to go to that color. Okay, so then we've got the layout option. So the width is default or full. And that means it goes fully wide. And you can also have it left aligned, so it sits further to the left. Thing is, if you want that, you kind of need to put it into full screen mode. Otherwise, it won't. It's hard to do. So that basically means that when someone opens the email, it will all just sit completely to the left. Whereas if we go to center, it doesn't centralize all your text, but it just moves the email more to the center in a similar fashion that you would see in a traditional marketing email. So I'm going to go for left. Now the title is optional, so you don't have to put title in, but that block will stay there, and that will be an empty block if you don't put a title in. Not quite sure why, and I don't know why you can't delete it. I'm going to say that now. I think that you should be able to just get rid of that block if you don't want to use it. Then here we've got settings, and you can show the footer in editor. The footer will be in your email regardless, because that is a sort of statutory requirement, especially there's things that you have to have in your footer, which is your physical address and also an unsubscribe button. So that will show anyway. So I'm just showing that so that I can see, and you can change this. This will be your social links that you set up in your regular brand settings, and you can change any of this text here. And it's a free account, so the Sent by MailerLite icon will be on there. Okay, so then As you can see, there's no elements here to drag and drop. So what we do is we start right, you see there's a plus, and that is a movement, but we can't move it above the title. The title is fixed there. So let me just, hello there. And I just click enter and you'll see it's created a new block. How are you? I hope the weekend hasn't been too melty. Heat wave in the UK this weekend, unless you live in Orkney like me, and it wasn't a heat wave. We can then click enter again, and you can see here it says write or type the / for commands. So I'm just going to do that. And as you can see, I can add a text, I can add a heading, bulleted list, delete that, or numbered list, a quote, or you can even add a divider, a variable. So that's where it's something like a name. So let's do that here. So if I go hello, I can go down to name instead. And if I do that button again, I can say add an image. So let me upload an image. I'm going to go for a sunset image. Or you can go into your library. And then I'm just going to click enter again. And I've got another one. And I can also click this add button here, and that will bring things up. So I'm going to and then we are going to add a button. And as you can see, that's got the styling here. So I can change the color if I wanted to a blue, say, or a red. And also I can change it so it's in the center, left aligned, or this button here, it goes full width. I love a full width button. And that's where you would add the link. You can also play around with the button styles here. I can go, actually, I want that to be blue. And then we would just hit enter again. Thanks. Bye. Okay, so there we go. Have a simple. You don't have to add an image. This is great if you're just sending an email on the fly, particularly where you just want to send an update. And it's really simple to do, but you can add images. But what I would say is the issue with images that I discovered. One of the pros of this is that it's mobile optimized. Let's go into preview mode. So this is something that I will be flagging with them. So here you go. This is what it looks like on a desktop. This is what it looks like on a mobile. So because the landscape image hasn't been optimized for mobile, so it's not been shrunk, therefore all the text has stayed. So if someone looks at it on their phone, this is what they're going to see. It's going to be either that they scroll, or when I tested it on my Gmail account, is that the text was tiny and it fitted the the photo in, but all the text was then really, really tiny. So what you're better doing is going for an image that's about 300 pixels wide. I would left align it. Doesn't matter how big your button is, but you might want to go for something a bit more proportional. And then we go to preview and test, preview mode. And there we go. And now it fits. So the way to get around the image sizing is to keep it at a maximum of 300 or 295 pixels wide. And that way it will sit nicely within that. As you can see, that's still probably a little bit wide, but you can see all the words, so it's not an issue. So there we go. And that is how we use the simple editor. You then hit next, and it takes you through the usual thing where you add your subject, your pre-header, your recipients, and you go through to schedule it. So let's just let's go for none, and let's select recipients, and I'm going to go for group 1. I'm going to continue. I'm going to schedule that for tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And there we go. That's the simple editor. If you would like to stay up to date with things like this and get tutorials, then you should subscribe to the YouTube, obviously. You can also subscribe to my newsletter because I would, what's the point in doing email marketing if I'm not email marketing, right? And you can also follow me on Instagram and connect on LinkedIn. So I hope to see you there. And if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments. Thanks very much.